Okay, here we are. We're going to talk a little bit more about understanding the power of purpose, how it actually works. What we're talking about is we're trying to get to basically when the Lord says something to you, the power that you need to accomplish your goal is in those words.
Yeah.
He tells me to go to Africa and preach to thousands or millions, who knows. The power that I need to do what He's called me to do is in the words that the power that I need are in the very words He's speaking.
Right.
And because his words are not just words, but they're spirit and life. So the power that you need is on the words that He's saying.
Yeah.
But there are a few things we want to dissect a little bit about fear, maybe about our past, our identity, and so forth, that keeps us from being aware of the power of God that's basically on our life, or even being aware that the Lord's even in our life.
Yeah.
And it's funny that the Lord had to send an angel to basically wake up Gideon to be aware that God is with him. And when the Lord actually told him, the Lord is with you, he's having to remind him of something that maybe he knew a long time ago, but now he doesn't have it. And I don't know about you, but and maybe even some of the people that are watching, you maybe have experienced the Lord, like Israel was a chosen one, but then they had a lot of bad past. They drew away from the Lord, and here come the Midianites.
Yeah.
They totally put them in a poverty-type mindset. Everything that they would try to grow, things that they would try to do, the Midianites would come in and destroy it. And they had a past, that was terrifying. And I've been studying this, and we've been talking about this a lot. Gideon is not sensitive. His senses are not awakened that the Lord's with him, even in the winepress. Even while he's in fear, trying to take care of his little thing, the Lord is with him.
Yeah.
But he's desensitized from the awareness of God because of his past or the things that have happened to him in the past. And so he manifests that later on, like you talked about earlier. He suddenly starts questioning God. But I can tell you that's a really good PowerPoint. Is a lot of times, we get desensitized from being aware of the power of God because we think our past dictates our future.
Yeah.
Or dictates that God may not like me or not, or may not love me anymore. Well, that can't be true. What do you think?
Well, I think it comes down to that nothing can separate us from the love of God. So, so if He is love and we can't be separated from love, then we can't go anywhere that He's not.
Right. So God's not even looking at his past.
No.
I mean, you think about that. He's not coming up to him, and even when he manifests on him, he's still trying to tell him, this is what you need to do, this is where you're going, you're a great man of God, let's go after it. Now I'm sure we're talking to a lot of people that believe, and maybe people that don't believe, but there are times in my life where I have been so down and made terrible mistakes. I mean, if there's any, people have ask me, how do you get wisdom? How do you get all this stuff that you know? And a lot of times I say it's because of all my failures.
Right.
But he's actually having all these failures, but God is still trying to talk to him. And I know this in my own life, and maybe even people that are watching, you may be down and out, but as soon as the Lord comes in your life, it's like your past is erased immediately. You can't even remember. You're totally coated in the presence of God, and you're hearing what He's telling you to do and all these wonderful things, and suddenly you completely forget who you were, and now you remember who you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I think that's really what God's trying to do with us now. He's trying to come where you are in your little winepress of fear. And I believe that we're about to get a visitation that even in our winepress of fear, God's going to show us who we really are and awaken us that He's been with us the whole time.
Yeah. And one of the things I love about this is that the Lord doesn't come and say, you're full of fear, you need to get up out of the wine press and pretend like you're full of faith and valor until you become that.
Right.
He doesn't come and point out the obvious, which is he's hiding, he's in fear, he doesn't believe even in the power of God maybe anymore.
Right.
He doesn't state the obvious of what's going on in Gideon's life, but he adopts a perspective of love and encouragement, and he's going to speak life into that situation so that he can really become who he was created to be.
I'm so glad that God doesn't look, down and open up something while you're living in this world and says, oh my gosh, you're not qualified to be able to do this because, you've had all this poverty mindset and you continue to just hold on to the little things that I've given you, and that just makes you totally disqualified to do the big vision I've called you to do.
Yeah.
But I truly think that when God looks at us, He looks at us with inspiration and still sees you as a son. And He still hasn't changed His mind on what He's called you to do.
Yeah.
No matter the resume you have in the past or the things that have happened to you in the past, God still wants you to finish the race.
Yeah.
And I truly believe some of this walk with God is not about walking it perfect, but walking it with Him.
Yeah.
You get that? That was an hard thing. He doesn't want you walking it perfect. He's wanting you walking with Him. If you partner with Him, you'll win the race or you'll finish it.
Yeah.
We got to finish the race. You may fall, but you got to get back up and you got to keep running. He's wanting you to continue to finish the race. You look at David. How many times did he fall? How many mistakes did he make? But did he finish?
Yeah.
Did he finish the race? Absolutely. He kept getting up, going to God, and still trying to stumble his way in some magnificent, beautiful love story with God, and he ends up finishing it.
Yeah.
And at the end, all of his enemies are at peace with him. And we're just trying to encourage you today, and we're going to dissect this a little bit more on this next clip. We'll see you later.